Okay, we're watching Massivepogg, who is playing Orisa. This is on Ilios, and they said, I placed Plat 5 last season just before the reset, but I can't get past Gold 5 this season. I think this is console. Despite feeling like I'm playing so much better, the game's starting to get really monotonous, not being able to make it to my baseline rank again, let alone climb. If anyone can review my VOD and tell me what I'm doing wrong, I would be very grateful. Okay, so number one, play the game to have fun. If it's not fun, don't play it. you know, like there's no reason to spend your time on something that's not enjoyable. One, two, if you can't get past Gold 5, I would say then you probably are playing worse than you did before if you placed on Plat 5, unless Plat 5 was a fluke and luck, like you played to somebody else who boosted you there or something along those lines. Beyond that, let's take a look. So you have Mercy and Brigitte here, so you don't have like a ton of it's like sustained heal. Like you have like a low amount of healing for a long amount of time, right? Brig Inspire and like can suddenly burst you. Mercy's probably not going to be pocketing you. Mercy's going to be on the fair the whole time. So number one thing is your primary healer here is going to be Brigitte. So for example, if they're running Moira and the Moira's pocketing the Orisa, you have to understand you're not going to win the straight up like butt heads against each other fight because they just have more healing than you. Brig brings a lot else to the table, so it's not like, oh, you're throwing by not having that, but you just need to recognize what's your team and how do you play around that. Throw javelin, you spin. So for starters, always play around cover, okay? This spot right here does not have cover easily accessible. So for example, this spot right here is cover, this spot right here is cover, right? This spot right here is cover. This spot right here does not have cover. If they come around the corner and they just light you up, you're just going to die. Again, you're probably not going to die because you're going to pop cooldowns, but then you don't have cooldowns and then you get pushed and die. So I think let's think about this macro-wise, right? So who wins this point? All right, like who wins this point ultimately, and like why do they win? Is it because people die? It's possible because people die, but not always because people die. Sometimes nobody dies, and one team still takes it. A team wins the point when you push back the opposing team. Well, how do you push them back? The first answer is what causes them to stand on the point to begin with. They stand on the safe point when they're safe. They stand on the point when they have a lot of health and they have defensive cooldowns. All right. If they don't have health and or they don't have defensive cooldowns, they don't stand on the point. So your goal here is to burn down defensive cooldowns and push them off. And even if you don't kill anybody, just pushing them off the point is enough, right? In King of the Hill, the first team that captures the point almost always wins. I would say almost always, like a large percentage of the time. I would say like 65% plus of the time. If you cap it first, you win. So in these situations, I think again, you're like, hey, how can I convince them to leave the point while I can stay on the point? And the key thing is just burning down the resources, constantly applying damage, pressure, hitting javelins, hitting shots, especially on vulnerable targets, and wearing them down to the point they have to step off, because that's exactly what's going to happen to you here. And that's why you stepping out in the open here and taking a ton of damage, that's what's potentially problematic here, is that you may end up losing this because you're standing kind of in the open, right? See, you just popped fortify, right? That's a great example of what I'm talking about. Did you need to pop fortify there? I mean, maybe not, right? You had, I think like 490 health. Yeah, you had 480 health when you popped that fortify, okay? You did not need to pop fortify right then, right? But you got nervous, right? 488 is when you popped it. You got nervous because you're like, oh no, I'm taking a lot of damage. You pop fortify. Again, if you're playing cover, I bet you wouldn't have popped fortify because you would have felt very safe. But out here in the open, you get scared, so you pop fortify. And because you pop fortify, you've lost one of the resources that caused you to stay on this point, okay? Ultimately, you're going to have to leave this point when when all three of the following happen, okay? 1, you don't have fortify. 2, you don't have spin. 3, you don't have health, okay? So your perspective should be, how can I conserve all of these things as long as I can? Now, spin is interesting because you can spin early and then spin later and get 2 uses of spin out, okay? Because there's a short cooldown. But fortify is like a 14-second cooldown or whatever, and your health obviously is dependent upon whether or not your supports can heal you. Spamming. All right, again, not good heat discipline. You see, so what's the spin for? All right. So watch. Like, what's causing you to decide to spin right here? The Sojourn has 83 energy. Okay, and she's shooting not at you, right? And then she shoots the Pharah. Why did you spin here? Right? My guess is, based on the way you're looking, that you think the Sojourn's gonna zap you with it. First of all, you're at basically full health, so even if you eat the headshot, it's not a big deal, right? It's going to do like 180 damage or whatever it does now. Second is like you have you have 2 healers on you, okay, and you have all your abilities. Like you don't need to pop fortify here. She's not even looking at you, right? So you come over here. Why have you come over here? Right? Well, it looks like you're trying to force the sojourn out, but you notice you're not even looking at the sojourn. So what was the point of coming over here? You see the sojourn just shooting your backside, right? That's problem number 1. Problem number 2, where are your supports? Your supports are over here. Okay, you got Farah here, you got Brigitte here. When you're here, you're being healed. When you're over here, you're not being healed. So why are you leaving your supports? Like why do you choose to leave your team here? And you choose not to fight the sojourn. Okay? They don't feel comfortable chasing after you because this is an open space, a lot of space for them to get gunned down while they run from here to here. Right? So you go over here, and you see the Orisa's rotating. The Orisa is full health, unlike you, not full health. And it's going to be a 2-on-1 when she gets here. Right, you turn, you fight the sojourn, you realize how low you are, you're like, wow, okay? And you get gunned down, you killed over here. And you had spin alive. Spin available. So, what did we learn from 1 life, right? Let's play that back in real time and just watch your play. You pop fortify when you don't need to. You leave your supports. You try to fight the sojourn, but you leave your back open to her. Take a lot of damage. Realize you're out of position. Try to rotate back, but then you could have made it. You definitely could have made it there. Then you decide, oh, I'm going to go back here because you feel unsafe, and then you die. So if you look at this, and you're like, man, I'm really frustrated about losing these games. I feel like I'm playing better. If you look at this, does it feel like you did the right things? Does it feel like any of the things that you did were right? Because all you did was just feed your life away to the enemy team. Like, you didn't force anything out. You didn't force it. It's one thing if you're like, oh, I forced all the enemy cooldowns. I forced the defensive ulti or something like that. You didn't do anything. Like, you literally just let people just kill you because you just walked away from your supports around a corner where they really couldn't come save you and fed them the point. And as I pointed out, the first team that wins the point loses like, or rather, first team that loses the first point loses like 5% of the time or whatever. That's a lot. Okay, so you're gonna come back. Your team's dying, of course. Pretty regular. You just wait for the team to respawn. All right. You run forward again. You pop fortify, but like I don't know why you're fortifying here. Okay, you're clearly trying to aggress right now, right? You're trying to step forward. Look at where your team is. You got your Brig with you. You got the Mercy with you. Okay, your Farah's sort of with you, and you have your Sojourn way in the back because she died last, so she's gonna be slow to respond. It's not her fault. Like it's maybe a little bit her fault, but like ultimately, there's not that much she could have done differently. Your Brig goes in, which is not a great idea, and then this Cassidy is inside of your team. Right? So right here, you for sure should have heard him. Right? You hear the footsteps? If you're wearing a headset while watching this video, you'll hear this. You hear the footsteps on your right ear. Okay? You hear the footsteps in your right ear, you should have turned immediately and been like, what the heck is that? Because whatever it is, it's clearly not the opposing tank, so it's got to be a DPS who's in your backline. And you can easily kill this Cassidy right now. Instead, you're clearly going to ignore this for a while. Right? He bumps into you, still shooting your backline, your Mercy's nearly dead, and now you finally react. Too late. Okay, great. You killed the Cassidy, great. But he killed your Mercy first. So now it's just even. But they have point control, so even is good for them. Stalemates are good for the defensive team. This is why you always want to be defense. Whenever possible, you want to be defense. Because in defense, if the other team does nothing, if both teams do nothing, you win. Right? The only way that you lose as defense is if the attacking team plays better than you. If you both play equally bad or equally good, the defending team wins. Okay, so you're even right now. You're trying to gun down the Moira, which is a good call. Again, you pop Fortify. Did you need Fortify? At 550 health, did you need Fortify? No, you did not need Fortify. Okay. Now, you don't have Fortify. But Fortify would be really useful right now, right? If you had Fortify, you could just walk into the team and kill them all right now. Because they have no spin. Okay, that's really important. They have no spin, so they cannot push you back. So you could just simply Fortify and walk into the opposing team and kill both of the supports right now, and there's nothing that Orisa could do to stop you. Okay. You luckily get the kill in the Orisa, or the Moira. You really shouldn't have because Baptiste is right there, but we'll take it sometimes. You spin to stop Fortify. This is good, right? The problem is your mechanics are off. So she's clearly trying to step and kill your backline. Like, it's very obvious that she's not attacking you. So what you need to do is you just need to play in front of her, right? And just prevent her from shooting at all. But what you end up doing is you end up going past her. You see how you go past her? And then she nearly kills your Brig. If she hit that javelin, right? She's just slightly off. She's that javelin, your Brig's dead here. And you see again, she goes past you. Again, hunting your backline. And now you have an opportunity. Oh, you don't javelin now. Now you pop fortify. I think it's okay. I think fortify right here is okay. Like, she clearly only can target you. You don't want to lose too much health here, right? You should probably get this kill. And then you back. Why do you back right now? Right? So again, you have the opportunity to just walk straight forward into them. You have Terror Surge right now. You know their support is dead. You know they're overextended because they're basically, like, this is your half of the map, right? Like, they're not going to get here anytime soon. You could just continue walking forward and gun down the Baptiste and then gun down the Orisa, right? And you surge if you have to. But instead, you pause for a second, right? See, you pause, and then you start walking forwards. And now you've given time for them to regroup and get back towards the point. You have the opportunity for surge here. Right? Again, I don't think you pulled the Sojourn in because of line of sight. Because remember, it's a line of sight ability. Right? See, the Sojourn doesn't come with you? Right? They pop lamp, you kill lamp. Great, kill the Baptiste. Aim is way off. That was a very easy kill the Baptiste. Okay, you finally get it. You're at 30 health. Now you need to chill. Right, you pop Sin because you're nervous. Okay, that's fine. Fair. Right? Now you walk in, you pop Fortify way too early. You're wasting, right, probably a second and a half of Fortify before you can get around the corner. And turns out you're actually really not interested in fighting this anyway. If you had Fortify, by the way, you wouldn't have died there. So, it's not great. What should you have done differently? Well, as I pointed out, right here, you have to recognize when do I have an advantage and when don't I have advantage. Okay? Kill the Moira right here, great. Well, right, very lucky to get the Moira kill there. And then this Orisa's gonna chase into you because you're trying to kill the Brig. Could have done a better job there, right? Then you're just trying to hunt her down. Your body block. Just keep running forwards, right? That moment right there, I know it seems small. That moment right there is when you should have kept running forwards. Also, you could Terror Surge right now, which will pull the Baptiste to you, right? It will be like right at the edge, but that will make sure the fight happens here instead of here. And that little difference is what will determine whether or not you win or lose. Also, note, as I pointed out, your DPS are not here. Okay. At this point, you should no longer be trying to take this fight because your team isn't here. It's just you two versus 3, right? 4. You two versus 4. So this is a bad time to be taking the fight. You have to wait for your team. You don't, so you waste ultimate, and then you die. Alright, you pop Fortify. Again, you don't need Fortify there. Alright, kill the Cassidy, great. For the record, that won't happen at higher ranks. He's just walking around with a straight line. You throw Spear into Spin, which is totally eaten up by... Great! So, kill the lamp! Alright, kill the Baptiste, great. Yeah, that's pretty good aim. Alright, okay, cool. It's funny how big the difference is between the ranks, between console and PC. Because this is like pretty comparable to like Hyper on the PC. Not just from the aim perspective, but okay. You missed an opportunity to kill the Cassidy here, but okay, it's fine. I mean, like, there's definitely some crazy chaos happening here, which is fine. As long, remember, you're in defense, right? As long as you hold them off, you're okay. You're almost a Terror Surge. You have 3 here. You have defensive advantage. You got time. Okay? You can play this corner, or if you don't feel safe, you could have gone all the way back here and played this corner and truly played for time. But with 2 supports here, right, and the Ana is extended, right, and your Chaser's available, you play this corner and you try to get Surge here. Alright, just spam. Oh, okay, you should Javelin that. Okay, that's a major mistake. All right, so let's pop this through slowly. All right, starting from here. So your goal should be get Surge, use Surge to win fight. All right, spam, 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 spam. Great. Okay, Orisa stepping forward. If the Orisa steps forward, that means she wants to come forward. Generally speaking, don't let the other team do what they want to do, because their plan, right, where they want to go is where they think they need to be in order to win the game. So your perspective should be, I should prevent the Orisa from walking forward. So you want to get in her face right now. Okay? Instead, you let her go past you, which is a problem, because what is she doing behind you? She could be killing your team, for example, right? Forcing back your support, something like that. You decide to let her go. Okay, fine. You know, kind of is what it is. You see the Baptiste's purple, you try to kill, great. The second you see this, javelin him. Javelin's off cooldown right now. You can easily javelin him right now. Javelin has a micro stun, so even if it doesn't hit a wall, it's still a micro stun, which will interrupt high noon. And then you micro stun him, it does 100 damage, which means he has 50 health left and he's pinned against the wall for half a second, easiest kill of your life. Instead, you shoot the Sojourn, you're like, oh shoot, here's the Cassidy, let me keep shooting. And you notice you're not even at headshot level. He's stationary right now, for the record. He's like totally stationary while he is in high noon form. He can move like 10% move speed or whatever. You do a lot of missing, a lot more missing. At any point in time, you could have used Javelin to interrupt this and kill him. But even without that, even without Javelin, you could have used Spin, which also would kill him. Because Spin does up to 100 damage if you hit it with every single tick. So you could use Spin to kill him, which also would have stopped High Noon from firing, or doing damage to you or anybody else. But you don't do either one of those things. And then he's still in your face, still plenty of time for you to do something, but now you throw the Javelin far too late and then you die. So you could have killed all three of these heroes by yourself. Right, quote unquote by yourself. But like in this position, all three of them were easily killable by you. All you had to do is javelin that Cassidy, because they were actually in a really bad position. I want to show you how slowly High Noon tracks in real time. Okay, so again, let's watch that again and just see how much time you have to react. Like, this is not like an instant, like, oh, he's so fast. Watch. You see, 7 seconds right now. Okay, look. That's 1, that's 2, that's 3. That took 3 whole seconds before you did anything, used either one of your abilities that would have killed him and prevented the High Noon from doing a ton of damage to you. Okay, because how much is he actually doing to you? Like something like 300-ish? Yeah, 300, 400 damage to you. Right, and now I bet you lose the point because of this. Yep, you lose the point, you come back, and this is like not even a real fight. Like, I wouldn't worry about that, because like, when you start your back like that, there's like almost no chance of winning the fight. Alright, next fight. Alright, so, based on your layout, you've decided you want to be playing towards the point. Okay, because Lucio got you there quickly, that's fine. Playing inside the point is actually pretty good, right? For surprisingly strong King of the Hill, especially on this map, is to play inside the point. There's plenty of cover, right? Let them have the outside, take the inside. So you decide to play out in the open. I think this is the worst spot to be taking this fight, because there's no cover really here. And your team, right, your supports in particular, are going to start getting poked down. You see how they're compressing the map against you, okay? They're forcing your whole team to clump into this small area, which makes it really easy for everyone to land shots. If you simply ran to the point and played from here, your team would have followed suit. So it is your fault to be playing in the wrong spot, right? Orisa shoves everybody off the map, and now the fight's over. I guess the Orisa came back up. I guess the Lucio rather. I guess he shoved just Lucio onto the map, but now Lucio's dead. And again, notice that they have point control, which shouldn't have happened, because your team is a Lucio, so your team is much faster than theirs. You easily could have taken the point prior to this, but now they have the point, and you're like, oh shoot, what do I do here? And now you're gonna waste time. You use Spear to do nothing. You used Spin to do nothing. You did get a pick. Okay, good. All right. But you see how you're like indecisive here, because you're like, wait, how do I actually win this? All you had to do was step on the point initially, and then you would be in their spot, not vice versa. So that's your fault from a positioning perspective. Alright, Orisa steps up, kills one. I think you retreat here, really, because there's no real way that you can win this fight. Typically, you would retreat in this situation. Who knows at this rank? Don't shoot the Orisa, right? You have the opportunity to shoot the backline while the Orisa was down on the ground. And you kind of stand there and you just eat a bunch of shots, and then you die. So you did the worst. So generally speaking, for fights in Overwatch, you have 2 options. Option number 1, you fight, commit, and you win or you lose. All right, but it's over pretty quickly. Option number 2 is you fight, something happens, like a teammate gets picked, or they use an ultimate or something like that, and then you decide to leave, and then you wait to regroup, and then you go again. You did the third option, which is the worst option, which is you kind of fight, but you don't commit, So you don't die, but you don't capture the objective either, and you waste a lot of time doing so. Because look at how it's 26% right now, and look how when it will be by the time you can come back and take a fight. Okay? So I would say right about now is when you can take a fight. So you have wasted 46% of this map doing nothing. And you could have just died or played on the point or whatever it was right away and given yourself a chance to have at least one more fight. It should be like 24, 25%, not 46%. So this is entirely on you, again, for just not being decisive about which way you wanted that fight to go. By the way, your spin doesn't speed you up going backwards. Alright, you have Terror Search here, so opportunity to make a play. You see the Baptiste is low. You have to see the Baptiste is low, kill Lamp. Good. Right? I think this is a good play. He's high newing, doesn't matter. You're in Fortify, right? You should still kill everybody. And then Javelin, please. Yeah, there you go. Orisa, see? Orisa's smart. Orisa's like, you know what? This fight's over. Well, I guess the release was pushed off. But either way, the Orisa dies quickly. Okay? So let's keep track of when the team is able to fight you next. Alright, they're already setting up staging. So the fight's in earnest now at 18%. Remember how I said before that you wasted almost half of the map messing around? You see that they're already starting their fight at 18% and putting pressure on you. Right? And they would have been able to touch it at 25 if they ran a straight line. Okay, so windows up. You good. I think this is you spin away, right? You put pressure on the map. Cool. Yeah, don't. You definitely need spin here. So what's really important in this situation is how do I stay alive and how do I hold the point? Okay? Ultimately, your Kiriko's in kind of a weird spot. I don't think you want to stay here because the whole team's going to run you over. I think you need to transition to Lighthouse or Bell Tower, and then from Bell Tower you want to get to the point. Okay? Because I don't think you can win this fight out here anymore based on the current situation. Your Kiriko's job is to come to you after this, right? Baptiste is super low. Yep, and she does exactly. So you don't want to give up this point for sure. But you see how because you're late to rotate, they take the point and force you to run at them. Okay, and it's really all started back here. Once here, you spin and you go over into the I don't know what it's called, art room. Let's call it art room. So you go to art room, okay, but really you should have actually gone over to Bell Tower, right? You could have just spun, walked backwards, and played behind Bell Tower, and you were in good position. And then you could mirror the Orisa when she steps forward. Instead, you go aggressively. The Orisa recognizes like, oh, okay, you're gonna play over there. She's like, do I need to help? No, I don't need to help because there's two supports there. You can't kill anybody. Shoots through the window, and it's like, you know what? Screw it. I'm just gonna go for the point because she recognizes how far ahead she is. Okay, your spin catches up a little bit, but she's still a spin. She goes over, puts pressure, and she caps it, and then now you're forced to run in a straight line at her, and then she just guns you down in the face. So again, you're cut out of position. You're gonna get one shot in the final fight. You lost one, unfortunate. As soon as I see that, you have, I would say, a less than 15% chance of winning this fight. Unless your team has ult advantage, which you don't. You have rush, actually. You have rush coming soon. You pop fortify. Again, the fortify comes out so early. Unforced. Right? You pop fortify right now at 517 health. Unnecessary. You have to kill supports. Right? Focus on the supports. Miss Javelin. Right? Good. Yeah, boop them up. Great. You got one pick. Oh no. Right? Take huge damage and then you die. Okay. So, if anyone could review my VOD, tell me what I'm doing wrong. What are you doing wrong? A bunch of things. I would say, number one, Fortify in particular is being forced out all the time for no reason. All right? That's probably like problem number one. All right? Problem number two, you are not in the right place at the right time. You don't really know where you want to go, and when you try to go there, you don't necessarily go there decisively. And I think that comes down mostly to just not understanding the way the maps play out, right? Or like how fights are won and lost in Overwatch, which is understandable. Playing tank is a complicated job, right? It's really hard. Like, it's not like DPS where you can just follow your tank's lead. You kind of need to know, like, you play a lot of experience, you play game after game after game, you see how games play out, and then you can have a better understanding of like what you need to do. But in these situations, you just don't, like, for example, spinning over here, you didn't realize that was the wrong call, okay? And after you realized the wrong call, you couldn't rotate back fast enough to do anything about it. And without superior mechanics to the opposing tanks, which you don't have, you can't make up for the gap in terms of the positional game sense aspect of it. Are you going to run into tanks that are worse than you? Absolutely, right? And that's where some of the wins are going to come from. But I think you need to dramatically improve your understanding of the game, the space creation, and the space holding parts in order to improve. Right? It's like we could cover things like javelin and spin, right, and pushing people back, but I think that's not like nearly the biggest issue as number one, like fortifying at the wrong times. Number two, just like not going to the right spots and holding space or taking space correctly, especially important on King of the Hill. I would say the third thing is not waiting for your team. Right? I think that's happened a few times. I think that happens to pretty much everybody at metal ranks. Okay, hopefully that's helpful.